coming to you from the heart of Kansas City. It's Buck and Bob Take on Chiefs Kingdom. This is a show for fans, by fans. It's not fancy analysis. It's just two guys talking about a team that they love and talking about it from a fan perspective.
Yeah, I'm Buck. I'm just a passionate Chiefs fan that thinks my opinion is worth something.
And I'm Bob, oftentimes one with unpopular opinions and a knack for pissing people off.
Well, how about those Chiefs, Bob?
How about those Chiefs? All right, so we're gonna get into it. This episode, we're gonna talk a little bit about, the aftermath of the Bengals game. We're gonna get some Chiefs news. There's some spicy stuff. And then we're going to do a little Chiefs trivia, a little fun thing. And then we're also going to just kind of go over what our thoughts are for this upcoming game that we are about to have. So with that being said, what is there anything about the Bengals game that's kind of, I don't know, messed you up, or something you didn't get in at the last podcast?
I mean, that play at the end of the game, or the controversial pass interference. I don't think there's anything controversial about it. If anything, it was less of a penalty than the one that wasn't called earlier in the game. But we definitely touched on that already.
Dude, we didn't. We didn't touch on it with. Okay, so. It's best. Do you want me to let you go, or do you want me to kind of
go for it?
All right, so it's unbelievable the audacity of the Bengals fans when they're saying you can't call that, but they were just completely fine with the play before that put us from 4th and 6 to 4th and 16, where it was illegal hands to the face, and I mean. Come on, man.
It's whiny Bengals fans, just like we had the whiny Ravens fans that were all saying that he wasn't out. He was out. It was pass interference. Like, it is what it was.
Yeah.
And it was that.
And it wasn't an uncatchable ball, guys. Like, the ball sailed over his head after he had been pushed down, a good second, not a half a second, a good second before the ball got there. I mean, it's...
If his arms were still straight up, he still would have touched the ball. I mean, it was absolutely catchable.
Yep.
He got interfered with, so it made it uncatchable.
What I've heard from retired refs and stuff speaking out is they're almost never going to call a ball uncatchable unless it's way out of bounds, like way over the back of the end zone, way over, way out of bounds, because they don't want to ever get called back. Like, these freak athletes can do amazing things, and they don't want to ever screw up a game because of that. It doesn't matter. Don't pass interfere. Like, the uncatchable ball shouldn't even really be a thing. I mean, just don't pass interfere. Don't get there early. It's simple. And I was watching the Pat McAfee show, and it was hilarious. Because they did a poll, and the answers were, yes, it was pass interference. No, it was not pass interference. And then there was, one of the answers was, yes, it was pass interference, but you can't call that at the end of the game. And I'm just sitting there, and the amount of people that voted for that is astounding to me. So you're just saying you can cheat at the end of the game? You can cheat. Like, is that what you're trying to say?
Which means that the offense is now at a huge disadvantage if you have the ball last. Like, come on, man. Let's be realistic here. The rules are the rules because of things that have happened and things that have needed to be to make the game better and to make the game safer.
Yeah, and it just cracks me up that this copium from Bengals fans. I just don't get it. I mean, why can't you just be a sportsman that acts sportsmanlike and say, good game, good game? I thought it was really classy of Joe Burrow he was pissed at the end of the game.
Oh yeah,
And they asked him about the play at the end of the game, and he said, "You know what? I need to get back to you on that in a couple days. I'll let you know later." And that's smart, and that's mature. He knows he's pissed. He knows he's going to say something stupid. So just don't say anything at all. It's just like your mom told you. If you don't have anything, it's not the same thing, but if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Well, this is if you're not going to say anything besides something out of anger, just don't talk. And I thought that was pretty classy of him, and just we'll see what he says later. But when he looks
I'm more
at
than
the
twice
tape,
his age, I can't do that. So
when he looks at the
good
tape,
on him.
He'll see that it was definitely pass interference. But one thing that happened in the game. Well, I mean, that's in the news. We should probably talk about it, though, now, just because Pacheco, that injury that happened was a lot more serious than we thought. He left the stadium in a boot. And
he's out 6 to 8 weeks, according to ESPN. So, I mean, the initial word that I heard was 6 weeks, roughly. So 6 to 8 weeks sounds pretty reasonable as far as expectations are concerned. But man, I've said this before too, man. When we thought Hollywood only had a week or two left, I'm fine with him just holding out one more week just to make sure he's good. I mean, 6 to 8 weeks, he's not going to make a big impact on the season at this point. So let's save him and let's give him an extra week. If he feels like he's 90%, let's wait till he's 95. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With this kind of team and the projection of where we want to go, man, I'd rather just see healthy players on the field. We're 2-0 right now, where we could easily be 1-1 or 0-2. Honestly, both of those games came down to the last play. So
oh yeah, and I don't know. The Bengals played horrible in week 1, but how did the Baltimore Ravens lost again? But was it close? I'm trying to remember. I'm blanking.
I don't know. I wasn't able to watch that game.
Oh, I think it was close. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy because I remember in the Alex Smith era, we had a year where all of our losses were like by 3 points or less. Yeah. And it's just crazy because now we're on the other side of it, where we finish games, and it's crazy to think about, but we finish games, and it's cool, but it is, man. It, like, the NFL is crazy like that. And then your confidence grows with each of those, ugly wins too. And your confidence hurts with the ugly losses. And so it's a really good thing that we're on right now, but it's going to come to, we're going to lose a game.
Oh yeah. We're not going this season undefeated, and I don't want to, man. You start to get the pressure of the undefeated season, and look what happened to the Patriots when they went almost undefeated and lost in the Super Bowl. Like, the pressure, and that's all anybody talked about. There was almost more talk about that than there was the actual Super Bowl itself. So yeah,
and we already have pressure of the three-peat too.
Yeah, we do. I like when we lose early in the season, get that out of the way. I mean, last season was weird because we lost 5 out of an 8-game stretch. That one was rough. But I don't think that we're going to see that this season. I said it in the end of the preseason. I thought that it was going to be a shaky start, but I think that this last week against the Bengals was probably a little bit shakier than I really thought it was going to be. I mean, it was kind of rough. The offense was kind of rough.
Yeah,
and most of it came down to Suamataia, which he's on the agenda to kind of talk about too.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
But yeah, I still think we're I mean, in 3 to 4 games, we're going to be a lot more comfortable as an offense. I think it'll be a lot easier to watch as Chiefs fans. So I'm hoping that this next game is not a last play of the game type of game. I hope that we've got it sealed.
Well, just remember, we always play down, it seems. So
We do, yeah.
I mean, it's very possible.
Mahomes loves the drama, doesn't he?
it's just weird. I mean, we played down to the Lions last year in the first game.
I lost. Yeah.
The year before, we played down to the Colts and we lost. You know, we had. I mean, the Lions were at least a good team last year. The Colts, we had no business losing to the year before.
Look, we play down to these other teams, but they play up to us. I mean, everybody wants the Chiefs. I mean, we are circled on everybody's schedule. This is the dynasty. This is the team we've got to beat. So, I mean, NFL teams are setting up their offenses to beat the Chiefs' defense and setting up their defenses to beat our offense. That's the norm.
Yeah, we are the poster child of who you want to beat. So, and yeah, well, I don't know. We'll just have to see. I think.
To answer your question real quick, the Ravens did lose. It was a close one against the Gardner Minshew-led Raiders. So that one had to
the Raiders. The Raiders, their defense is trending in fantasy.
Oh, Max Crosby is just a monster, man. I would love to see him in red and gold.
Monster.
It'll never happen.
A monster mash was a graveyard smash. Monster Man. No. Wait, you don't know that song?
Yeah, the Monster Mash.
Okay, good. Because
I grew up with Dr. Demento.
I was watching New Heights, and Jason Kelsey made a reference to it, and Travis was lost. He had no idea what he was talking about. I was like, how does Travis not know the Monster Mash?
He's also not a dad. That's something you'll hear in school with little kids a lot too. So since he doesn't have any kids, he might not have exposure to it.
It's just weird. It's just weird. Although
it is,
Kelsey's more close to my age, though, so maybe that's why he remembers it.
Which Kelsey? Jason?
Jason.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's still way younger than me, but we won't talk about that.
How much younger?
I choose the fifth. All right. Well. Let's talk about the news, and you wanted to talk about a certain person being waived, and you were probably a little confused about that until the next piece of news.
Yeah, so Peyton Hendershot was waived, and part of me thinks that it was in reaction to the fine. I don't remember the exact amount, but it was an obscure number, like $5,478, something like that. While the team got fined $100,000, which isn't a big deal when we're talking NFL.
What fine?
The fine from the NFL.
For what?
This was for the blatant out of bounds push during the Ravens game, but then Peyton Hendershot kind of shoved the guy that had shoved Mahomes back on towards the field, but it was definitely a shove, and so he was fined for that.
You think the Chiefs got rid of him for that? I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I mean, I think they like people sticking up for. I don't know.
I thought so too originally, but if you're costing the team $100,000 on your first week and you're not even in the game,
that is true. That is very true. Yeah, that is very true. And it might just show that he's like kind of a hothead, and they're like, but
that doesn't fit this team.
Yeah, I just wish I knew what kind of talent he was, because Kelsey was a hothead.
Yes,
Travis was a huge hothead that cost us so many yards early in his career because he freaking blew up on officials, blew up on other players. I mean, he started
celebrating too early. Yeah.
He was a I remember being so mad at him.
Yeah. You could see the potential of what he could be, but he just was getting in his own way almost. But then, I think Alex Smith coming in and really kind of settling him down It helped, but it just took forever. I remember it was like 4 or 5 seasons. He had 2 or 3 just boneheaded plays. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, and but so I don't exactly think that makes someone a bad guy. I mean, I always give hotheads a little bit more benefit of the doubt just because I was a crazy hothead when I was younger. I mean, you knew me when I was younger, and I could get scary, at times.
So do you think he just wasn't fitting in then? Or, I mean, they definitely didn't need the roster spot. They didn't need a roster spot.
They did it for the next piece of news. I mean, that's what I think. They did it for our new player that we have.
But he's not even on the squad.
He's on the practice squad. But I think that's because they had to waive the other guy first. I think he's going to be off the practice squad in a week.
You think?
Oh yeah.
So we're talking about Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt.
So here's my thing about Kareem Hunt. I think there's a lot of from the few people that I've talked to so far about this that's already heard the news. They're pumped. They can't wait to see Kareem Hunt on the field with the Chiefs uniform again. But what was that, like 4 or 5 years ago? We have memories of what he was and what kind of a player he was. And though mentally he could still be that guy, but physically there's just no freaking way. There's no way he's going to be. That's old for a running back.
He's 29, but he's only 2 months or something older than P-Ryan. I mean, and you have to remember when we first got, what's his name? He used to be number 1, McKinnon. When we first got McKinnon, he was 28 or 29. And then we had him for years. He was 31 or 32 when we let him go.
Yeah, but he didn't have the miles on him like Kareem Hunt does. And
that's what I'm saying. I don't think Kareem's going to be the same guy that he was here. I mean, he was on pace to be the year that we got rid of him, he was the best running back in the NFL. And he still had, I mean, I went against him in fantasy quite a bit over the next few years, and he was definitely a powerhouse. But he's not the same guy. But he's still, last year on a bad team, he went for over 400 yards and 8 TDs. I mean, the guy still. Whoa. But I mean, 8 TDs.
Yeah, well, that just means they're giving it to him, in the 5, within the 5. I mean, he's getting goal stands.
I'll take that. Pacheco got 3 chances this last game and couldn't get it in from the 2. So
yeah, I just don't think we're going to see the kind of player that everybody is expecting. I say everybody, the people that I've talked to,
they shouldn't be expecting that.
No, absolutely not. I don't think he's going to be I don't know. I don't think he's going to be as productive as the optimistic fans think. I think he might be on the squad as our 3rd running back, or maybe even 2nd running back next week, like you said.
I don't think it'll be this week. I think he'll be active roster the week after.
He's got a big playbook to learn. Well, his playbook has changed drastically since he's been gone. It's not even.
It's still the same system, though. He should be able to come back in a lot easier than P-Ryan, for instance, who's never been in the system.
Maybe. We'll see.
Well, and also we should talk about, he did leave on bad terms.
Yes.
It was years ago.
Character issues.
Have you seen the videos?
I remember watching the video, yes, back when it happened. Yeah.
I will say it is not like a Maurice Jones-Drew video.
Right.
Okay. Where he knocked his wife unconscious and dragged her by her hair, or his girl unconscious and dragged her by her hair out of the elevator. Like, that's not the type of thing. He pushed and maybe tried to kick a girl that called him the N-word. And I mean, she called it, and she wasn't using the one with the A. She was using the one with the ER, and it was gross. I mean, it was, and you could see how a young, we have to remember these guys, lots of times when they make these mistakes are in their early 20s, man. Like, how dumb were we when we were that age?
How classy that Joe Burrow was, though, to have that kind of foresight. And when you're in this kind of spotlight, like he is, and he was at the time, especially, people are going to come at you. And we need to know, or the team needs to know at least, that you're not going to have that reaction when it happens again, because it's not if it happens again, it's when it happens again.
I don't know. I don't know.
Are you
sorry?
Man?
I interrupted you though. Go ahead with what you were saying.
No. I'm just saying, like, you're gonna be in that situation because he likes to go out to the club. He used to like to go out to the club. Let's just kind of assume.
Do we know what he does now? That's what I'm saying. Like,
no, we definitely don't know, but we know.
If the Chiefs brought him back in, I feel like they would have had to feel they would have had to feel pretty comfortable about it. Even though we really need a running back, I feel like the Chiefs did homework. I feel like that.
I'm just saying that's a serious concern of mine. And hopefully you're right.
And he hasn't been in any trouble. I haven't heard of any trouble. It's been 4 or 5 years. Like, I think
I remember a year or two ago he had like a little run, and it may have just been like a speeding ticket, and because of his past they had to report it. But
I mean, if you think about like him compared to Tyreek somehow his child got a broken arm after a problem that he had, and then Tyreek talked shit to the dude on the boat, and had all that fiasco, and then this most latest thing, the altercation with the cops. I mean, I'd like, we talk about how great Tyreek is, but boy, he kind of seems like a crappy human being, like, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, yes. I don't know,
At times, yeah.
I did hear the tapes with Tyreek and his wife or girlfriend or whoever it was, baby mama. She was crazy, like absolutely insane. So, I try not to judge people too much, but I always want to give people an extra chance. And maybe that's because
benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. And maybe that's because, dude, like if I would have been the same person that I was in my late teens, early 20s, like people change, people can change. And I'm always rooting for them to be better and to become a better person. And if the Chiefs brought him in, I feel confident that they see that in him. No, he's not going to be a workhorse back, but
no,
like that's okay. That's okay.
I'm interested to see who's listed. Next week, obviously, when we do the show, I'm interested to see where he's listed in the depth chart if he does make it to the team. So we'll see.
Me too.
We'll see. We should bet a drink that I think it'll be 2 weeks. You think it'll be 1?
So you think he'll come back? Who do we play? Let's just make it super easy. So we have the bet like ready. Like you don't think he's going to come back? Hold on, let me check schedule.
We got the Chargers next week.
Okay, so you think?
So I think for a division game, it's a good goal to have him back for that.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to see
for that.
I need to see this so we can solidify our stuff here. All right, so you think that he will come back against the
Chargers?
No, that's when I think he'll come. Because we play the Falcons.
Okay.
You think he's going to come back against the Saints on October 2nd. I think he's going to be listed on the roster September 29th against the Chargers. Okay.
Yep. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
The bet's
Yeah.
on the board.
Although,
Put it on the board. Put it on the board right now.
Now that I see that and it's a Chargers game, I kind of regret that.
Put it
that,
on.
I
Put
mean,
it
that
on
would
the
be
board. Put
for
it
a
on the
division
board.
game. So, and you know what, though? We might need the help against the Saints. They've been lighting it up. Derek Carr is on fire.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it for the news there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, speaking of the upcoming game against the Falcons, I've made a little list of a few different things that I'd like to watch. Some things that I've noticed. I wasn't able to watch either of the first two games, but I did watch some highlights tonight while I was putting the notes together. So I've got a couple of thoughts on how they're performing right now. So,
well, you have Kirk Cousins here right at the top of your list.
I do. Mm-hmm. He's looked shaky at times, but we know that he's got a world of talent. He can really sling. I mean, he's very accurate usually, right?
He's such a nice guy too.
He really is, man. I've watched some interviews. He's a big God guy, right? So they're very, very religious in his family, which is fine.
He's like, oh shucks.
Yeah, like the guy doesn't curse, but he's got like a man cave in his basement, which has got all of his trophies and his jerseys he's traded and stuff. And he's got a quarterback for the. I think that's what I saw him on. Yeah.
Yep.
And he's got that spot for the Lombardi that is sadly going to remain empty probably for the remainder of his career, unless he becomes a backup for the Chiefs.
That's the whole thing. So Kirk Cousins he's got a great arm. The problem is in this NFL game, I mean, even Joe Burrow is mobile and can run. Kirk Cousins, if we don't have 5 or more sacks, I'm gonna call this a not cool. Like, we should have sacks on this guy, period.
I believe you said the same thing before the Bengals game, though. I think you said the same thing, 5 sacks.
I said I'm hoping for 5 sacks after Burrow's performance, but I expect 5 sacks on Cousins. I mean, unless their game plan is just immediate throws, 3-step drops. But if he's taking 5 or 7-step drops, that boy better be sacked 5 times in the game.
See, I don't agree with you a little bit. I agree with you completely. Like, the highlights of the games, even his successes were almost like, oh shit, I got to get rid of this, and he slings it, and it was a great pass to a wide receiver, but he looked flustered, he looked slow, he looked old, he looked very sackable. And the offensive line looked shaky. So I don't know much about their line because they're nowhere near our division. But I kind of feel the same way. But I felt the same way going into the Bengals game. So I'm kind of hesitant to call for 5 or 6 sacks. But gosh, man,
I mean, it's at the same time though. Like, you look at. You look at them though, and I don't know. They could be okay. Like, the Falcons. Yeah, I just don't know a ton about the Falcons. Like, basically, like, they lost to the Ravens. Wait, is this right?
No, they didn't lose to the Ravens
because the Ravens won. Oh, that's the preseason. Where's this?
Go to the very far right. It's the going into the Falcons game, so you'll see our stats.
Okay. So they played the Eagles and they beat the Eagles by 1 point. And I mean, the Eagles are a good team, maybe starting off slow. The Steelers beat them by 8 points. I mean, they look to be a pretty good team. But I just don't see. I don't see how they're making it work. Like their receivers, like the only way to make him work is with incredible wideouts and like
tight ends.
Like I don't even really know the names of their wideouts. Like Drake London, I guess I know, but I mean it's not like
never heard of him.
It's not big. It's not big time. Kyle Pitts, tight end. I don't know.
Bijan Robinson, isn't he their running back? I've heard of him. So, but they don't have any. They don't have any superstars. They don't have any CD Lambs. They don't have any. So
what
Hollywood
that makes
Brown.
me think is their defense is really good.
They're kind of looking over their stats from their game against the Eagles. We got a couple of guys to kind of keep our eyes on. Jesse Bates the third, he had 12 total tackles, 2 passes deflected, and 1 tackle for loss. So that's a name to kind of keep your eye on. Who was the other one? Caden Ellis. He had 11 total tackles, and he got on the quarterback once too. So
yeah, but he's a linebacker and Bates is a safety. Yeah, I think we're gonna be like this. This game seems to be in the bag, but the problem is that, like I said earlier in the show, we oftentimes play down. So I'm a little worried.
This really has the feel of a trap game. You go into it feeling confident, and then Kirk Cousins comes in and just looks all world. Because he does that from time to time. He will absolutely look like, where the hell has this guy been his whole career?
He's a great passer. I mean, he is a great passer. And his teammates love him. His teammates love him and want to do well for him.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I think if he has time, he can be dangerous. I think that our defensive line kind of plays to that in our favor. But who knows exactly how that's going to show on the field come Sunday? I mean, we didn't get Burrow down much. How many sacks did we have?
Was it 3?
We did hit him a bunch.
Yeah, we had a lot of pressures, but
we had 3? a sack and then 4 half sacks for a total of 3. Yeah.
I thought it was about 3.
But we did get to him 7 times. We got 7 hits on him. So, it's weird. Kind of looking at these stats, it didn't feel like we got to him that much, but I don't know. It just felt like he was tearing us up, with those short throws over the middle to the tight ends.
Mm-hmm. They were really using those tight ends well.
And that's one of the things that I've got in the notes to talk about for this next game. Do you think that the NFL is just kind of watching? I mean, the Bengals almost beat us with a fairly broken team right now. But their plan of attack, both offensively and defensively, seem to be successful some of the time.
They were just literally taking the pass away from Mahomes. And what's weird is we pushed that running game so hard and then barely utilized play action.
Yep.
Why are we running if not to open up play action?
And then defensively, they were throwing to their tight ends all day over the middle, and it just didn't matter. We were going to give them that and take away their Jamar Chase, which was mostly successful. But I just, man, if that's the kind of football we got to watch all year, oh man, it was not the most fun game to watch.
Yeah.
Especially when we're used to Mahomes, he can throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns in a game, and he can, we've seen him do it over and over. So
this last game was his second least yards ever in a game.
Wow.
Yeah, second least yards ever in a game. But it could end up being a boon for us. You did say you didn't think the wide receiver core would be gelling for a few weeks. this type of run style, although now Pacheco's out, so now teams are going to be like, whoa, well, they're not going to do that. But, it's like it could open up the pass for later, but it
Thank
is
God
weird.
for Rice. Thank God for Rice being comfortable with Mahomes, man, because he's really carried this wide receiver core through the first 2 games, man. He has played fantastically. Watson hasn't been bad. He's been solid the few times he's been thrown to.
He's been way more solid than I've ever seen him, in the start of a season.
Like he's always been that way, but it just.
I've seen him drop so many long passes. I mean, so many where he's open. I mean, the guy gets open. He just drops the pass.
But yeah, I mean, thank God for Rice. But I'm hoping to see Worthy get some action this week.
Worthy, and remember what I told you. So, Patrick underthrew Worthy, and I told you last week. But that he's got to learn that if it's a one-on-one, he has to go up for that, and if he's not going to catch it, he has to knock it down. That is his job. Andy Reid said the same thing in a presser. He said, he's a rookie. He's gonna have to learn, when it's one-on-one, he needs to come down with it, or nobody comes down with it, and he'll learn that. And I was like, yeah, Andy, you're just making me sound smart.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully he learns it soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too, because
the kind of leader that Kelsey is out there, I can see Kelsey pulling him to the side and talking to him about it, and it being a positive conversation too.
I don't, dude. Kelsey, I'm worried about too, man. I'm worried about Kelsey slowing down, but
yeah.
So with Pacheco out, you have P-Ride will surely get more work this week, as well as Steele. You have no chance of Prince since he signed to Miami.
Sorry, Bob.
Did he sign to their practice squad, or did he sign to their actual? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think Steele's going to get the majority of the carries. I think Steele's going to be the premier back this week.
Didn't I say something about Steele being the number 1 running back sometime in the near future? I think I said that.
Yeah, you said that, but you didn't say if Pacheco gets hurt.
I didn't put any stipulations on it whatsoever.
This is true. Oh, Buck Tradamus over here.
Funny how things work out.
Well, all I know is that so I have Carson Steele as like my last person on my fantasy team, and just because I just took him in the very last round just for funsies, just to see, but he went from being projected to have 0.86 points to being projected to have 9.86 points next week.
Use him? Well, I guess you'll wait and see.
I think I'm gonna play him. Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna play him.
I'm gonna keep my eye on that depth chart for the rest of the weekend, man, because I think even if P. Ryan is the number 1 and Steele is number 2, I still think that he's a smart play.
I don't think P. Ryan's going to be number 1. I think P. Ryan's going to be third down running back. I think they're going to give Steele an actual opportunity to run a whole game. Yeah, and I mean, I'm excited for Crocky J to come on in there.
Crocky J, the alligator, man.
I'm telling you, man. It's so cool because I really think this kid's got something. And with his fumble last week, he's chomping at the bit to get back out there. And I'm excited. I'm excited as hell. And yeah, I'm excited to see what he's got going on. I think P. Ryan does get in more. He's, been in here a couple of weeks now. We might even see Edwards-Helaire suit up.
I don't know. He's still listed as out.
Yep.
On the injury report. Now they haven't updated that yet this week, and I don't think they will till probably Thursday or Friday. I think they have to on Friday.
Yeah,
like 1 or something.
If Edwards-Helaire is not in, then I really think that we'll see. We'll see Hunt in. So we'll just have to see what happens with that because, I mean, they're not going to go with just two running backs.
That's interesting.
I mean, I
we'll
guess
see.
they could shoehorn. They could put Noah Gray in. He's played the fullback position before. They could have him as like the third running back, but I just don't see him going into the game with only two backs. But maybe.
Yeah, they'll probably. You know what? If they do go into it with only two backs, they'll probably just kind of use him as a swing. Then, kind of use Kelsey a little bit more, where they would have probably put Gray in and then let Gray go in the backfield. So speaking of who's going to start in what position, Suamataia, you think that we're going to see him as a starter again this week? They put in,
I believe,
Wanye Morris at the end of the game.
He got benched.
The guy that caught the touchdown got put into the game.
Yeah, he got benched. It's very concerning for me that he got benched. I wonder if it was
It was bad.
More
it had
of,
to be.
But
I think they'll put him back in. I think so. It was a mismatch, right? That guy Hendricks was absolutely just tearing him apart. And if they moved him on the line, they were just going to move Hendricks over to where he was. So, and he got lucky on a bunch of those plays. We kind of touched on that too, where he could have been caught for holding, at least 4 or 5 more times. So I think they'll have him in as a starter and just give him maybe the first half, see how he does against the Falcons. Kind of looking through their stats for last week, I don't see any big names, big name linebackers or linemen that are, always on Sports Center with the plays. So, hopefully they don't have a big play guy that's going to disrupt him and he'll get some good experience and good work in this week.
Yeah, I think maybe the whole benching of him was just Andy trying to really hammer home, you need to get better.
Yeah.
I'm hoping because, I mean, it's a big-time pick that I want to work out and I want him to do well. And
yeah, all the ex-linemen that do talk shows nowadays, I've heard a bunch of them talk about this guy and his freak athleticism and how fast he is and how talented and how his ceiling is so high. And it's like
lots of people call him a project, though.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have a long history with football, from what I understand. I think he just started like when he was in maybe high school or college, even.
And you got to remember, he played right tackle in college.
Yeah.
So left tackle, I mean, if you play right or left tackle, some people can move, but I mean, oftentimes a whole other side of their body is stronger, and they're used to going to that side, breaking to that side. Yeah, it'd be kind of
muscle
awesome
memory
if we could find a left tackle and we could trade for a left tackle and put him in at right tackle.
Hell yeah.
I would be down with that if we could get a trade. I mean, because that's our tackles is where we're really struggling right now. And it's got me really worried
for this season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like in a year or two, he's going to be just a much more developed player. So I think for our future, but man, this is our window right now. So for this season, I'm really worried. But we'll see how he does against the Falcons. Like I said, I think he'll start.
Yep, and I'm hoping you have down here Mahomes. I'm hoping we see Mahomes looking more like Mahomes. I mean, he did. He made it happen. But man, the 2 picks. I mean, and 1 pick in the game before, he already has 3. And that is just un-Mahomes like, even in losses and stuff. I don't know if he's trusting the receivers too much to on the one-on-ones, or if I do know he underthrew.
Well, neither one of the ones last week was was a jump ball. I mean, they were pretty like decisive interceptions.
Yeah, he underthrew.
That first one he didn't. And the first one he just didn't see that linebacker. He just didn't see him at all.
Yep.
So, but it's not like the receiver had a chance to break either one of those up.
Yeah, I want to see exactly what you want to see. I want to see him spread the field more, get it to multiple receivers, make the defense wonder where everybody's going. But it seems like I'm hoping that everybody doesn't just play us with the high safeties.
I know it seems effective, but man, it's going to make for a long season. Even if we're winning, which we are, it's still, man, it's a scary thing to watch. Because God, man, we know what we've seen in the past, with Mahomes and what he can do and how he extends plays. But if he doesn't have time back there to extend the play, I don't know, those tackles, man,
getting to the outside.
Making me sweat, damn it.
Yeah, he's going to have to extend the play running up the gut, past a defender that's engaged with one of the interior linemen. And that's a scary way to get out of pressure. Like, he loves running to the right and to the left, and he does it well. But yeah, I'm really worried about the line, and kind of hoping there could be some sort of trade. But at the same time, I don't want to just tank the next few years for the three-peat,
Yeah.
Like, I want to get the most out of Mahomes over his career that we could get. But I think it might have humbled him a little bit better now. So I have faith. But you wanted to do some trivia, right?
Yeah, this was a suggestion of a friend of mine. Just a little a trivia question.
But
Bob
you didn't
and I
prepare me, though. I don't get to give you a trivia question.
No, but you can come up with next week's if you want. So
I think we should each do one.
Okay.
For each other.
All right. Well, while I'm explaining mine, you can come up with yours. You and I were kind of talking about this during the last game, but who holds the Chiefs' single game sack record and how many sacks? Is it no cheating? So we'll give the answer at the end of the next episode. And if you cheat, we'll know. So
you're saying I thought you were just going to ask me.
Oh, no. This is for the listeners.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was going to be me that had to answer. Pretty positive I know the answer.
I'm pretty sure this is a softball. I think anybody over the age of 35 should just remember. And then anybody over the age of 20 should have heard by now. So
no, there's no way anybody that's 20 has no idea he even existed.
Man, that's unfortunate. They need to be educated. They need to watch our show.
I was talking to a guy at the golf course the other day. He's 25. He didn't know he's a big football fan, and he was just talking about all kinds of players and everything. And he didn't know who Barry Sanders was when I brought him up. So yeah. Unfortunately, the youth of today is not big on history.
Dude, a couple of years ago, I was training a guy back at one of my other jobs, and he was a young guy, but he was a big Royals fan. And I said something to him about meeting George Brett one time, and he goes, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Shut up." He goes, "No, I've never heard of him." Like, George Brett. You've never heard of George Brett. He's like the poor man's Pete Rose. He was scrappy.
I've talked to George Brett many times. Him and his kids got their haircut at the same barber that I went to in Prairie Village for years. And he was he was pretty nice. My favorite thing that he ever did was when he was talking about getting the shits from bad sushi, and he didn't realize that there was somebody recording him. He's just shooting the shit with the guys on the field, telling them about his time he got the shits. Oh man. Yeah, that guy was a wild man in Kansas City when he was big. He was a wild man. But yeah, I mean, he got kicked out of more bars. He got kicked out of more bars on the plaza for having sex in the bathroom than I think anybody in the history of professional sports. That's a total truth thing. It's a total truth. Oh man, but yeah. So what do you want to hit on here towards the end? I don't feel scared about this game. The only thing that scares me is just the Chiefs playing down, and that's really all that scares me.
Yeah, like I said, there's no big names to be scared of. So, I'm afraid that the Chiefs, defensively at least, they go out there and just kind of, give a B effort rather than an A effort and not get the pressure. And if that happens, then I am concerned of what Kirk Cousins can do. So I
mean, he has God on his side.
Yes, he does. He does.
Hopefully, Mahomes does too.
Yeah.
Let's hope we all do. Let's hope we all do. Oh man. Right. Well, anything else? I mean, the next episode is going to be, when's the game?
This one is at 7:20. I want to say it's the Sunday night game.
Oh, so we're gonna have a late podcast recording then, huh?
We are, yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah. That's gonna be. We're gonna be.
It's gonna be a sluggish Monday morning.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's gonna be rough, but. So we're Sunday night, and. Yeah, so the next episode will be right after we watch the game. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, we have good news to bring you.
It'll be good news.
All right. What do you? Anything else? Anything else? I knew
27-20. That's my prediction. 27-20.
Yeah, with the way they've been playing, I'll go with 16-7.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. You should write these down so we know how close we were. Also, you have to write down our bet too. You
wrote that down already.
I didn't. I'll just remember.
I'll remember it. Yeah. I'll remember it.
All right, guys. All right. Well, don't forget to subscribe to us. Give us ratings and reviews on both iTunes and Spotify. Click the like button on YouTube and hit that bell and subscribe and send us, guys, if you want to send us a voicemail, it's 816-866-1066. We'd love to get those into the show. They'd be really fun. Come on, guys, right in.
Oh yeah. Something else, we were kind of toying with the idea of maybe live streaming an episode. Tell us what you guys think, if that would be a good idea. That's something that we should consider.
I mean, we're probably going to do it regardless because I live stream pretty much every day, but we're probably going to do it. It's just like everybody that watches me stream. I'm not a big streamer. I mean, like average 20 to 50 people watching.
On a weekend, it's 50 to 100.
But it's watching me play World of Warcraft Classic, not watching me talk about the Chiefs. So we'll see. A lot of people in my chat really don't like the Chiefs. So we'll see maybe they'll come and hate watch. But yeah, I mean, it would be kind of cool to do it. The problem is that streaming the ones where we're in person would be a lot harder. But I'm open to the possibility of doing that. I just don't know. I don't know how
logistics yet.
Yeah, I think just because of these, the pre-game episodes, we're gonna do these remotely, and so it'd be easy to stream. I might just stream it just because it's easy to stream, but
And we do know when we're going to do it every single week and the time. So it'd be a good thing to schedule so people could kind of know ahead of time when they could catch us.
Yep. Well, if it happens, it'll be Tuesday nights. Although at the same time,
8:30 Central.
I got
8:30 to 9 Central.
Today, I don't know if anybody saw my lack of energy, but it's because I've had a long day. Tuesdays are oftentimes long for me, but
poor Bob had to play 18 holes of golf today.
But then I had to work for 3.5 hours.
Oh, shit. What do you do, Bob?
I'm a marshal,
A
U.S.
golf marshal.
U.S.
golf marshal.
U.S. Marshal.
Dude, I wish you had a badge. That'd be awesome.
I asked them for one. They didn't give me one.
You did not.
I did too. I was like, do I get a badge? I'm a marshal. Does it say deputy marshal?
Oh. I'm going to 3D print you a badge, buddy.
That's great. All right. Well, yeah. So don't forget to find us on everything. You can find us at BuknBob, BuknBob, Twitter, all the stuff. You can find us everywhere with that. And Jason, where can we find you?
Yeah, Facebook. I'm always on Facebook. And then on X, you can find me at Bucktastic. That's BUK_TASTIK.
You can find me on X at Blazin_Bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. Wow, I just said X instead of Twitter.
You did, yeah. I was going to give you a little bit of shit for that after recording.
This is a total a new point in our wow. I just broke a barrier there.
We'll see what happens on Sunday when we record. You go back. You did say Twitter the first time you said it, though. You said you can find us on Twitter.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's hard. It's been Twitter's been going for
baby steps,
so long.
Man.
Yeah. Baby steps.
Yeah.
Mama. All right. We'll see you guys. How about those Chiefs? And
Chiefs.
Let's keep winning.
Hell yeah.